As we all know, there's a lot of PAX East news and information that is starting to circulate all over the internet, along with some very interesting interviews. We'll be going over 3 interviews, a Reddit and RPG game interview with Yoshi P, one from NovaCrystallis.com, and another one from PlayStation Lifestyle. All of these interviews are a treasure trove of information, absolutely full of text, so what I will be doing is only covering what I feel, personally, is the most important pieces of information going into the Heavensward expansion. Of course, links to all 3 interviews will be in the description box so you guys can read them afterwards. As we all know, Heavensward will see the introduction of the new 8-man endgame raid, Alexander, which will house both a normal and a hard mode. Normal mode being a story mode difficulty, and hard mode catering for the hardcore enthusiast raiders. Of course, there will have to be an incentive for players to actually do the harder version of the raid. Currently with Savage Coil, the only reward is a title, and not many players feel like the title is a good enough reward for the amount of effort that they have to put in. And Yoshi P agrees. Of course, otherwise no one would attempt the hard mode, he said. With that being said, with the design or look on the gear, we don't want to isolate the casual players who want to attempt to raid, and that they would be the same or similar. Yoshi P then went on and talked about the appropriate reward for the hard mode. We might make it so the player can color coordinate the gear that drops, or by making the rate in which items drop would be higher, or there might be an added effect onto the stronger items that drop, or any sort of element that would clearly distinguish it for hard mode. Yoshi P is being extremely vague in this statement, obviously, as he doesn't want to give any specifics away and cause any panic, which is natural for any game developer of an MMO such as this. However, over in the Reddit interview, he said that with the introduction of Alexander and the normal and hard modes, the item level of those items between the 2 difficulty levels will be much wider than that of anything in the Realm Reborn. So there will be many different options to gain gear. Again, rather vague, but putting these 2 statements together and kind of reading in between the lines, not only will the rewards from the hard mode Alexander raid be of a higher eye level than the normal mode, but it may also have other unique effects, stats, or colour schemes to distinguish itself and stand out. Talking of loot, many a time has a piece of ninja loot dropped in my final coil Bahamut static, but none of us even made a ninja, so the loot is a wasted opportunity. All the many weeks my statics have gone through without seeing a single piece of healer loot, for example. This has caused a lot of frustrations with the general player base, but Yoshi P does seem to have something in plan for 3.0. It's in the making but not finalized, he said. There are changes coming to satisfy the player to move away from actual item drops to something that matches the job and the role in the party. We're not sure if a full tokenized system will be in use. It's a delicate issue, and we don't want to mislead the players before it's finalized. When asked whether the new Alexander raid will have any gated period, Yoshi P replied, "We do plan to have a 2-week gap before we open up the content." He then went on to say, "If we open it up right away, there will be people rushing to get to the content on the week of 20th of June, and that there may be certain players who want to take their time and enjoy Heavensward as it is, but we'll be putting pressure on them to skip through the cutscenes. This isn't only limited to the Alexander raid, but anything that has a weekly restriction, which also includes tombstones, will be locked out for the first 2 weeks." The Relic 3.0 weapon is also a major discussion point. 3.1 will see the continuation of the Relic quest in the upgrades, but Yoshi P in the past has never really explained whether or not it will be the continuation of the Zodiac weapons, or the new Relic. But this time we have a slight answer on how the 3.0 Relic will be. According to NovaCrystallis.com, Heavensward will have the new Relic weapons alongside the level increase to 60, which, according to Yoshida, won't be nearly as difficult to obtain as the current Zodiac weapon line. The new Relic will likely also see something coming around the timing of patch 3.1 to increase its power, similar to the current Zodiac. However, the Zodiac weapons is still for whoever wants to use it, said Yoshida. The players do have choices of other weapons that might be easier to obtain than others. Again, this is slightly vague. Yoshi P in the past has stated that the Zodiac weapon will not be left redundant, and that it will have its place in Heavensward expansion, but how it will be used is still unclear. This statement from Yoshi P does seem like we'll have two relic weapons, the Zodiac and the new level 60 relic. Players will be able to decide whether to have the Zodiac weapon, the new relic weapon, or even both. This could be very similar to the upgradable weapon tiers in Final Fantasy XI, the Relic, the Mythic, and the Empyrean weapons. All three weapons upgrade in eye level simultaneously, and players could choose one or even have all three if they so desired. If that is the case, you could simply keep upgrading one weapon and have another for vanity purposes. Again, this is all vague, and Yoshi P is tactfully answering these questions not to give too much information away. Heavensward will also see the introduction of the three new jobs, Dark Knight, the Machinist, and the Astrologian. Reddit asked whether the new jobs will start at level 1, just like normal classes. And Yoshi P responded, "We're still in the final tweaking stages on where we're going to have them start, but definitely not at level 1. If we mention it, I'm sure many people are going to try and get ready and get a head start. We're going to keep it a secret as long as we can. It definitely won't start at level 1, so you won't have to scramble to get through things such as guild leaves." Mods and add-ons are something that have also been confirmed to eventually hit in 3.0. When asked what's the current state of the API for add-ons, Yoshi P replied, "We're still in development, it will take some time. We're thinking maybe after the launch of Heavensward we may be able to give you a visual reference or screen layout of some sort. Of course, having to patch updates on the go at the pace we're going at, any additional side projects that we work on tend to take a bit more time, but of course we're inching slowly closer to make it happen, and we're continuing to work on it." Free company crafting, or more specifically free company airships, is another interesting subject which many of us will enjoy. There will be 4 major parts which go into your free company ship. For example, the engine, the fuel tank, the body, and then the sail which propels you, and each part will have different designs as well as different capabilities. All the different parts will have a list of different available designs which also have their own unique capabilities. Picking an engine with good power and speed will require a larger fuel tanks, but in turn you will have less storage space on your ship. You can also have up to 4 airships which will each be ranked. Depending on the rank of the airship, you can or cannot equip different parts. What's even more interesting is something that they're currently calling the Sky Map. At the start of Heavensward, once you built your airship, you were able to send it out, scout, no passengers, just the ship goes out and tries to scout. And then in the following patch, you'll be able to board the ship and explore and find uncharted areas, said Yoshi P. Eventually, you can then turn your airship into a battleship with combat capabilities. Once you're able to go out and explore the sky map, you may actually find some notorious hardcore monsters to fight with your free company. You may also find other free companies out in the sky map who may have of course killed said notorious monster. In some areas in the sky map will also have extremely rare gathering items and materials that you can harvest. If what they're saying is true, then we're literally going to have air piracy in this game. This sounds absolutely amazing. There's actually use for free companies now, and being able to explore unidentified areas out in the sky just seems like a dream come true. Talking of crafting, there's also something Yoshi P is calling the Specialist. Yoshi P mentioned that at a certain tier you can advance in those specific tiers to become a more proficient crafter of that certain discipline, and we would like to see the start of that around launch of Heavensward. Depending on which job you choose to kind of master and become a specialist, there will be actions that are specific for this crafter. For gatherers, you'll be able to go into contact with different regions. Your gatherer can make a sort of special contract that will let them mine for special ores that are only available in that area, or of very rare materials that can only be harvested in certain areas, so you'll be able to kind of strategize where you want to have your headquarters. Now, I didn't want to make this video too long, so I'll cut it here. But there's loads more information in these 3 interviews, and I'm sure that many of you guys would love to enjoy reading. As I mentioned previously, the links to these interviews will be in the description box down below. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, as it would greatly help this channel. So thank you for watching guys, take care, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.